Hi, this is Cindy from Part-Time Permies, and today we have some asparagus grounds to put in the ground. This is the raised bed garden. There's 4 raised beds in here and a summer chicken coop, semi-mobile. It's a little heavy. And that run over there used to be right here. So what we're doing is I took, if you remember last year, I had made a compost pile for the chickens to work on in here and didn't get it very big, but still composted pretty darn well. I mean, actually, if you look at this, this is pretty dark dirt compared to our normal sand. Okay, so they're working their magic, doing their job, fertilizing the area. So this basically whole area here, we had compost at this end, but really the chickens fertilized the whole area. So we're going to use this for our asparagus bed, and we do already have a few crowns that we put in the ground last year, or the year before actually, that went along the fence line. I think we had 3 along the fence line there and 1 in the back. We have another half dozen or so to put in the ground, so we'll eventually spread this out a little bit more and more each year. But what I'm doing here is putting a trench in for the next row, and what I'll do next is take some of the darker dirt. There's actually some right under this, of this dark compost basically, and I'll put a layer of that in here, and then we'll set up the crowns to put on top of that. Spring onions. And a worm. Now that Mike has the tractor in the front yard, talk to the camera a little bit. But so what I did on the first row was the same thing I'm doing here. Dug a trench out about 8 to 12 inches deep, and then you backfill a little bit with some compost or compost soil mix, which is actually this whole area anyway. So I just dug it out and then I backfilled. That seems a little counterintuitive, but the reason is you want this loose dirt mound running down the middle, and that's what you're going to put these roots over. So you're going to open up the roots of one of the crowns, kind of like so it splays out all directions, and then you set it on the mound. And then once you have all of those spread out, you cover them until they're about 2 inches deep, which is not going to fill this hole completely, but you want them covered over about 2 inches so that they start growing. Once they start breaking the surface, you can put actually a little more dirt in there, a little more soil on top, and then as they're growing fill the hole. So right now they're probably about 4 inches, 3 or 4 inches below the ground level here. So I'll fill it 2 inches, then we'll have another inch or 2 left to fill as they grow. I would, after doing this, I'd normally water them, but we're supposed to get 2 days of rain and ice starting tonight. Considering it's like 70 degrees out right now, typical Michigan. Yeah, we're supposed to get a big rainstorm in tonight, and by Sunday it's supposed to be freezing rain. So, or maybe even by tomorrow night. Today's Friday, by the way. So, yeah, so I'm not going to water them because we're supposed to get, 1 or 2 inches of rain. So I think nature will take care of that for me. But I think I have enough for 3 rows, so I'll do 1 more row the same way I've done these first 2. We do have some already planted from a couple years ago. We have not harvested, and you don't want to harvest for about 1 to 2 years. I probably wait 2 years before it really gets established. And then you can start harvesting stalks when it comes up. So what we'll probably do is add a few more each year. Do a couple more rows. Last year we only put 4 in the ground. This year, I think I have like around 20 that we're putting in the ground. And these are spaced, by the way. They're spaced about a foot or just over a foot apart from each other. Enough room for the roots to spread out is basically the goal. So once they are spidered out all directions, you just want enough room for those roots to grow. And then, yeah, nice thing about asparagus, it might be a little bit of work getting it in the ground to begin with, but once it's in the ground and once it's established, you harvest it every year. You don't have to do anything. You might fertilize it every once in a while, and our version of fertilizing is taking chicken compost and putting it in. Since our run here is movable, we could actually move, say in the fall, move that back over here and put chickens in there and have them fertilize this even further. So you could put the asparagus in the ground as early as you can work the soil. Normally for us that's a little earlier than mid-April, but this year we've had some colder weather, or a lot of back and forth I should say. So we've definitely been fairly cold this April, which is why I don't have the chickens in the garden yet, although aiming for that in the next few days. Although I will say for Michigan weather, we're always back and forth. Our average day of last frost isn't until May 13th in southern Michigan. We will get more frost. In fact, like I said, we're going to be getting an ice storm this weekend. So that'll be fun. I'd rather have snow. Anyway, we'll get this finished up and then we should be all set for the asparagus bed for this year, and then we'll add more next year. So I hope you enjoyed the show. Please like, subscribe, and comment, of course. You know the spiel. And we'll definitely see you with the next video coming soon.